Ayo. I've got a few numbers for you. We are 10,000 miles into the trip, 300 hours of driving time, 65 days in, and I just turned 30.
Let's go!
Thanks for tuning in to another episode, and we hope you enjoy.
Welcome back, guys. Episode 7 of the Vanture podcast. We are having a fabulous weekend in Joshua Tree, California, celebrating the wonderful Taylor Sinussel's 30th birthday. We spent a couple days here. It's been awesome. Definitely out of the ordinary for us as far as accommodations go. But a lot has happened in the past couple weeks. We've had some exciting moments, some great stops. Why don't you take us through where we've been?
Yeah, I think we left off in Bend. We talked a lot about that on the last episode, so we won't really dig into it. But after we recorded that episode, we ended up meeting a fantastic couple at our campground, Nick and Danelle, right?
Yes, nailed it.
They were so sweet. And normally we're not ones to we've talked about this, communicate with other people. we just kind of stay at our spot and walk Joby and then go back to our spot. But there was just something about them. They had good energy, and we went over to their campsite and, sat by the fire and just had a really good conversation. So they said that they're going to continue to watch. And if you are watching, it was wonderful meeting you, and we hope to see you again sometime. Anything you want to add there?
No, it was just great to gain their perspective and, listen to their story. They're a little bit older than us, so words of encouragement, and they were very excited to hear what we were doing. So we're always appreciative of that, and hopefully we cross paths, in the future at some point. But yeah, Bend was awesome. Love Bend. Can't say anything more good about it.
Yeah, and then after that, we were going to do a few other things, but then...
Yeah, we were going to go to Mount Shasta. Yeah. We were going to go to Lake Tahoe. But that, again, would have shortened our time in Bend. So we ended up switching it and just going through Boise, which was a straight shot to Salt Lake, which is where we needed to be. Yeah. And it was a little surprising, I would say.
Yeah, no, it was just going to be like an overnight stop, somewhere to rest our heads. And we ended up having a really good time. We looked up things to do just because we got there early enough in the day. And I don't know if you know this about Jack and I, but we are obsessed with prisoners, prison, death row,
penitentiaries.
Yeah, but there was an old Idaho State Penitentiary.
Yep.
And it closed down in 1970. So they have it open now that you can go and tour. You can either take a guided tour or you can go by yourself, which we did ourselves, of course.
Yep. No thanks.
But it was really cool. Got to see the cell blocks, and the buildings were super old. Some of them aren't even standing anymore. Jack's favorite area was which one?
The Rose Garden.
Yes. It wasn't always a rose garden. It is now. What did they do there?
It's where they executed people.
We sound
I thought
crazy.
It was a rose garden during the time, but apparently they turned it into one.
Yeah, I think just because it's
And then the solitary
sad.
Confinement cells were cool. They had a basketball court.
Oh, yeah, I shot some buckets.
The walls, the prison walls, were way shorter than I would anticipate they would be. And I think people were just maybe shorter back then.
I think so, too.
And they couldn't get up there, but I could for sure get out of that place.
Yeah.
No problem.
Well, there were a lot of stories. So in front of each cell block was photos of who was in there. And then apparently there's stuff, which I don't know if that's actually their stuff that was in the cells. But if it was, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, their coloring books and their razors.
Yeah. But no, a lot of them tried to escape. Most were actually successful, but then caught because it's just surrounded by mountains. So they get tired out and they got caught.
Yeah. And then we jumped over to Boise State and we saw the blue field. We had some good dinner and we were on our way.
Yeah, it was very quick, but I'm glad that we got to do something there.
Yeah.
Okay, so after Boise, we headed to Salt Lake. We had to be there by Wednesday just for like a day of prep because Lewis was coming in on Thursday. So we got there Wednesday, and I think we really didn't do much that day. It was just like grocery shopping and getting the van all prepped.
We went to a Utah Jazz basketball game.
Oh, yeah, Dust. Go Sports.
Season opener.
It was actually very fun.
Against the Memphis Grizzlies, which is exciting.
Wow, you remembered the opponent team.
I think the most exciting part was the chicken tenders that we had at halftime, but...
Yeah, well, I was like, I'm kind of hungry. And he's like, we paid for tickets, not that expensive either, because we bought them last minute. But he's like, come to a NBA game, eat out, eat outside and have chicken tenders.
Yeah, which is... It's red on brand. But.
Yeah, no, it is.
So yeah, we went to the game. We did some shopping. Just the maintenance stuff around the van. And then on Thursday, we checked into a hotel, which is always awesome.
Fantastic.
And Lewis came in the evening, which was awesome. We went out that night. Went to a restaurant that his good friend Chef Bob owns. Not owns, but is the executive chef there.
Yeah, studio at Soundwell.
Yeah, super cool spot. Pizza was awesome. We banged around. In the evening, and then got some Z's. And Friday we went to a music festival in Salt Lake. That was the whole reason is why we picked that city and why he flew into that city.
Yeah.
It was like an EDM.
So cool.
Yeah.
Everyone was dressed up in like Halloween costumes. It was called Get Freaky. We did not wear costumes.
Yeah, we stuck out like a sore thumb.
But I was warm and everyone else was cold, I'll tell you that.
Facts. Yeah, everyone loves to dress with no clothes on for Halloween.
Yeah.
And they were out. That's for sure.
They were out.
But yeah, there were some good artists playing, 3 different stages, some crazy, crazy costumes.
Yeah. But some were really cool. And then I kept forgetting that we were at a festival. I mean, everyone dresses up at festivals normally, but this was like Halloween themed, obviously. And I would just like be watching the people performing, and then I'd look over and I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, there'd be like smoke you couldn't really see, and then this
scream
mask
creature.
just pops out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun, and we loved the pizza, of course, at Studio so much. We went back there that night for food.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then we woke up on Saturday and we drove to Bryce Canyon, which was like a 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
So the first 2 nights that Lewis is in town, we're at the hotel, we're hanging out, normal life.
Yeah.
And then we go to Bryce Canyon, which was astonishing.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think it might be, I don't know if I can say my favorite national park.
Yeah.
Is it a national park?
It is a national park, yeah.
I'm doing so much, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say it's my favorite, but I will say I think it's the most breathtaking.
Yeah, it's so vast.
So vast.
Yeah. If I could describe this trip in one word, it's vast.
Yeah.
Everything is vast.
If we get back and you're like, what was your favorite place? And then he tells you something and then you're like, describe it for me. The word's going to be vast.
Vast, for sure. It was vast. Bryce
really
Canyon was. And we just stared at it.
Yeah. So cool though.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, we camped in the national park, which was cool. Set up our tent for Lewis. Obviously had our van.
Yep.
Walked around. I mean, it was pretty low key. We ate. That was like the first day we ate our meals.
All in the van.
Yeah. Back at the van at home, which is
nice.
always appreciated.
Yeah.
And makes a big difference, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then it was just game time.
Go,
He's in town for a few days. We got to hit all the different spots. So Bryce Canyon, the next day on Sunday, we went to Zion.
Yep.
Amazing. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Breathtaking as well. Drove through there, camped on site.
Dirtiest campground we've ever been to.
But it's like a base camp to Zion. So like they feel like, I'm assuming this, they feel like they don't need to take care of it just because people are going to stay there regardless and spend the money because it's so close to the park.
Lewis can attest to how dirty.
It was rough. Showers were rough. Campsite was rough, but somewhere to hang out, somewhere to rest our heads.
Yeah.
And then on Monday morning, we headed to the Grand Canyon, which is a staple.
Yeah. I mean,
it's pretty grand.
It's pretty grand.
Yeah.
It's huge. But again, I will say maybe we weren't in the right spot. This happened before to us at Flathead Lake, I think. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like the photos. Like, it didn't remind me of the photos I've seen of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, it was also gloomy. It wasn't the best day. And we're 5 minutes outside of the park entrance, and there's snow everywhere. Yeah. So we're like, what? This is not what we anticipated. No. Not what you think the Grand Canyon in the desert would look like. And there wasn't a lot of people there because it's the off season, so the visitor center was closed. Yeah, I didn't. The weather wasn't great, but it was still magnificent.
No, I mean, there's really no other way to put it. I just, when you see photos of places, that's what you expect to see when you get there. And
yeah, it wasn't. I think that's because that's the one place that you had an idea of what it would look like.
Yeah, probably.
Everywhere else, you're like, Bryce Canyon, what is that? Zion, what is that?
I think I was also expecting it. What is that? Stig tree. Yeah. No one knows what that means. I was also expecting it to be like a circle. Like one big circle. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's definitely not a circle.
Or like an atomic. Like, that's what it looked like,
Moving on. Okay. So we went to the Grand Canyon. Everyone went, whoa, super cool. Took some videos. Mm-hmm. And then instead of camping at the Grand Canyon, we made the decision to just rip it to Las Vegas, because why not?
Viva Las Vegas.
So we drove 2 hours from Zion to the Grand Canyon and then 4 hours to Las Vegas and got there by dinner time.
It was a lot in the car.
The time change definitely worked to our advantage that day.
Yeah.
But Las Vegas is Las Vegas, so we did Las Vegas things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Lewis was in town for a couple more days, so we had a great time.
Stayed in
rolling around, stayed in another hotel. Mm-hmm. And
thank you, Lewis.
Yes, and then we stayed, once he left on Wednesday morning, we stayed in a hotel again.
Another day.
Because we had a free stay at one of the hotels there, so we stayed in another hotel.
Yeah, it's been lovely.
And then Taylor had no idea, as we were making our way to Joshua Tree, that we'd be staying in an Airbnb. So we have just been on this streak of breaking all the rules.
Real beds, real showers, laundry, kitchen.
I mean, we're running like 7 out of the last 10 nights have been...
Yeah, but honestly, no complaints on my side of things.
Yeah. No, it's great for sure, but it's definitely not the most cost-effective way to go about this trip. But
moving forward, we only have one Airbnb stay in a couple weeks.
Yep.
So after that, it's all van, everything.
Yeah. So walk us through the Joshua Tree surprise and what that was like.
Oh yeah.
If it was even a surprise, I'm not sure.
I don't know why he keeps saying that. He thinks that it wasn't a surprise, but I was literally crying. So I don't know. I don't know how else to say. I was actually surprised. But so the night prior, this Wednesday? Yeah. We were planning. We always like to plan out a few days in advance, but we just both weren't in the mood. But now I understand that you were pretending to not be in the mood. And I just wasn't really in the mood to plan. So we were like, let's just book one night and then we'll figure it out. So we found a spot. I don't even know what app you were using at that point, but found a spot, the cheapest spot we could find because we had been spending money. And we were just going to make our way there, go to Joshua Tree National Park. So he drives the first half. It was about 3 hours. I drove the second half. Again, he's a good
scheming on the low.
He's a good little schemer. I drove the second half, and while I was driving the second half, he somehow changed the destination. I don't know how that happened. And then we're pulling up, and it's desert. Like, we are in the middle of nowhere. And we turn onto a dirt road, and I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I would expect it to be. Like, we are camping out here. And so then we're driving through, very bumpy, and then we're approaching on the GPS, and he just goes, oh no, he played my favorite song. We had to play it twice because the dirt road was a mile long, and it was slow. I was going slow. Pink Pony Club, I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. Yeah, so that's my loving song that I love. I don't know. Whatever.
I was trying to hype the vibes.
Yeah, he was just bringing the vibes up, and it was playing, and then he's like, happy birthday weekend, honey. And then he points over and he's like, we're staying in a tiny home, not one, but two. And I was like, what? Like, literally just welled up in my eyes, and it was amazing.
Yep.
It's been a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, so yesterday for her birthday, we did absolutely nothing, which was fantastic.
That's
the first day
all I
we were
wanted.
here, we went to Joshua Tree National Park, drove through,
Yeah.
Went to brunch, and then yesterday we did absolutely nothing. So we
request.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I'm 100% on board with, let's be honest.
I just was like, I don't want to get into a vehicle. I don't want to move, but we have like cowboy tubs here. So we did like hot, cold plunge, did a quick workout, didn't want to do it. Jack forced me. It's fine. I'm thankfully did. Cooked all of our meals here because we have a real kitchen and just stared at the stars. It was just wonderful.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wonderful, wonderful. And
then today, kind of the same vibe in the morning. And then we're going to go to the Joshua Tree Saloon, which I feel like is a staple from what I've read. So we'll check that out this evening.
Yep.
And then we're going to head to Palm Springs tomorrow.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. Pretty awesome stuff. Very exciting. I think we get into some segments.
Okay.
I'll let you run the buttons.
Oh, no. I don't know what the buttons are.
Okay.
I have to get my cheat sheet up because I planned.
The first of our segments. Find the joy.
Me first?
All you.
Okay. So I could say this entire weekend, but I am going to pinpoint it to Thursday night when we got in. So not this place that we're staying in now, but the other one.
Okay.
Obviously that was the first night of the surprise and it was just really lovely. We had like a bottle of wine. We went out to the hot tub and it's so dark here. Also, I'm not tooting. That is the chair. It's so dark and you just look up and you can see all of the stars and it was just such a magical moment. And then we like had dinner and I don't know, I was just such in a lovey-dovey feel good mood, and I just love you and I appreciate you so much.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So that was my joy of the moment. That was my joyful moment. What about you?
Stuck between two again.
Oh.
Here we are.
Put one up. Put the other up.
I'm going to go one. We're leaving the Grand Canyon and we're driving to Vegas.
Okay.
Lewis is in the front. I'm driving. You're in the back. You're working.
Yep.
Which the fact that all of these things can take place in a vehicle while it's moving to a destination to me is just mind blowing.
Right.
Normally you're in the car, you're sitting up. There's only so much you can do and you're just hoping that you get there quickly. In our case, we have everything you could ever need to be on the road. So she's working off her hotspot. She's just banging out emails, which just makes me feel good because she's being productive. And we have the music playing and we have obviously a toilet in the back and tons of food. We don't have to stop, only if we want to. Yeah. And we're playing some good tunes. You're working and you're air frying chicken nuggets while we're driving. Okay. Which just speaks to me.
Yeah.
And fast forward a few minutes, Lewis is feeding me chicken nuggets while I'm driving.
I did say that was a requirement. I said, if you're sitting up here, you need to feed him.
Yeah. Coated in the perfect ranch buffalo sauce mix you could ever imagine. Yep. So I'm just housing these nuggets. Yep. Lewis is just doing his thing. Taylor's in the back working, and we're just having the best time. So that's number one for me.
Okay. What's number two?
And I'm just going to throw number two out there because it, was amazing. We have a hammock on this property that we're at right now. This tiny house has 2 hammocks. So yesterday, playing some Rufus, went out there, laid in the hammock. It's very chilly, windy. I've got Joby on my lap, this huge blanket. There's music playing. The sun is out, and it's just shining on me, and I'm laying there in just pure bliss.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, this might be the best moment of my entire life right now. So, incredible.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Love it. It's tapas time. Ooh. Do you want me to go or you?
I think I'm going to take yours, so I'm just going to let you go.
No, go ahead. If you take mine, it's okay. I back up.
Yeah, back up. Okay. I don't, so that's good. So we went to this amazing place in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. You didn't take mine.
Okay. It's called the Magic Noodle. And in Las Vegas, you may think that's something else.
Yeah.
But it's a Asian noodle place that was fed to me on Instagram. We ran around all day. We saved our appetite until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Lewis, Taylor, and myself. And we went to the Magic Noodle. They make the noodles fresh on site. They're homemade noodles. Yeah. You can see them in the back making them. But it's just like your typical Asian dishes, like your fuzz and your
dumplings.
Yeah, dumplings and all different types of soup noodle dishes, sauce noodle dishes, fried rice. We had some cucumbers. We
can only get those at Asian restaurants.
Yeah, it was unreal. And we were all just sitting there like,
yeah.
Unreal.
What was it called?
The magic noodle.
No. Lewis said, we're doing a full-on, mukbang.
Yeah.
We're doing a
full-on and the other funny thing
right
is,
now.
So we walk in and they only put chopsticks on the table.
Oh, God.
So we're all starving. And we're all like, we got our chopsticks. And Taylor holds them like she's an infant who's never held chopsticks before.
Okay, wait a minute.
And this is why this happens.
Before you go in any further, let me just redeem myself a little bit. If they are wooden chopsticks that come out of the little paper packaging, I can use them no problem. If they are plastic or the long wooden coated with plastic ones, it's game over.
What she does is she takes the two chopsticks, puts them together, and turns them into one dagger. And the only reason she's not great at using chopsticks at this point, and mind you, we have pho 2 to 3 times a week, every week for forever. So they're very common in our household.
Yeah.
She just doesn't want to get better at it. She just gets, and now that I know I've learned more about you on this trip than I think I could ever imagine. You're like, I'm done. I don't want, I'm giving up. So you just start
I do. But it works. It's like a fork.
But picture Taylor, the dagger chopstick lady, trying to pick up fried rice. I mean, it was like watching a starving child.
Yeah, but then they brought over the cucumbers and it had a spoon in it. So I took the spoon out and I just...
We made it through. Anyway, moving on. Fantastic meal.
Yes.
I thought that was going to be yours for sure.
No, it wasn't mine. I have to go back to Salt Lake City and say studio. Okay. Chef Bob is amazing. And I'm going to get an uni pizza oven and I'm going to get the recipe if he'll so gratefully, graciously.
Do you remember the name of the pizza?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll have to text him and we'll have to get the recipe.
I could look it up, but the pizza and the chicken wings. And I will say I know that you loved it too because normally those two things, we always have ranch. Jack, before he even knew this was Chef Bob menu or whatever, he was like, you don't even need ranch. You don't even need it.
I just feel like it's disrespectful to ask for ranch when you go to a pizza, like a specialty pizza restaurant.
Okay.
That's a very New York, like, I'll have ranch with that.
Right.
If they ask you want ranch, like, it's common. But when you go to a specialty, like, artisan type.
Totally get your perspective.
That was just me being respectful.
Right. And my perspective is I'm paying you money, so you're going to give me ranch because I want it. If I want ranch with my pizza and my wings. However, we did not need ranch there, so it wasn't an issue.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yep.
Thank you, Chef Bob.
Thank you, Chef Bob. All right.
I get scared of this segment every time.
It's
not always rainbows and butterflies. It's compromise and moves us along. Yeah. Wow. I really did you see what I did there?
I did. You should have seen my face.
Whew.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping we forgot about this segment this week. But
we could do a whole podcast on this segment.
We have just crushing news. You want me to just dive
you might as well just tell the story.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll try to make it quick. So there was a very, very sad moment this week or this last 2 weeks. We unfortunately, I'm not even going to lead up to it. I'm just going to tell you. We unfortunately are down a bike. And it's really sad. Here's the story. We were in Salt Lake City, staying at the hotel.
Never will be back.
Nope, will not be. Also, we are very trusting individuals, and we are learning not to be. Backstory is we about maybe 2 weeks ago lost our hitch lock for our bike.
Which is a lock that goes around the bikes and connects to the hitch so that you can't take the bikes off.
Right, yes. So you all are definitely an awareness to how we are down a bike now. But so we lost that about 2 weeks while we were driving. Somehow it fell off. I swear to you, it was locked on there. I check it. I'm the one that locks it every time. So definitely upset with myself. However, we never went out and got a new one. Just didn't even cross our minds. So,
well, we've been on the road for 2 months, and we've had no issues.
No.
So a couple days without a lock,
Yeah.
no big deal. Then you forget about it, and we made a rookie mistake.
So we left Salt Lake, and we were driving to Bryce Canyon. We were about an hour and a half into the drive, and I take Joby out. I am walking back to the van, and I'm like, just stopped in my tracks, looking at the van like, it looks like I don't see my bike on there. Wait a minute, is it blending in? The sun's shining, like maybe I just can't see it. Same color as the van. No. I walk up and it is gone. And then I'm like, oh, I don't see Jack. Like maybe he took it for a spin. I'm like thinking of everything.
At the gas station.
Yeah, who knew? You know, I was hoping that's what you did. No. Our bike was stolen right off the van because we were too silly enough to not get a new bike lock. And that's that. So what's our solution and what did we learn from it? Never to be too trusting. There are awful people in the world, even though everyone that we've really come across in the last 2.5 months have been lovely. But no.
Yeah, we parked so that the back of the van was facing the main road in Salt Lake at the hotel, and it was gone. Someone was walking by, because we were out there at midnight.
Yeah.
And it was there. So between midnight and 8 a.m. when we left, someone took the bike, which is unfortunate. Because it's an e-bike, and it wasn't cheap. No. But it is what it is.
And now we're just going to both ride on your bike.
Yeah.
So, my dad actually made this suggestion. He said, honey, you know what? It's no big deal.
It's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's compromise. So now we're riding too deep on the...
He goes, you know what you do? You sit on the handlebars and you let Jack drive you around. It's what I did back in my day. And I said, Dad, you are right.
Yep. Shout out to Mr. Smith. Great suggestion. So we'll get you another bike eventually here when we feel like it.
Yeah.
But small loss. Could have been way worse. They could have taken both bikes. And at that point, we'd have to shut the whole podcast down.
Or they could have taken Joby.
Yeah, that's
what I thought about. After I had 2 hours of neither, and Lewis was here for this, so my apologies, Lewis, but Lewis and Jack did not want to talk to me for 2 hours. I was just miserable.
She's like, you guys aren't mad about this? You're not upset?
They were just like laughing. And I was like, this is a serious situation and no one seems to care but me.
Yeah, but we're living a fabulous life. And like, are we going to let that ruin your day? Oh, and the other thing we forgot to mention is that on our way to Bryce Canyon, we stopped at a natural hot spring.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle of Utah, somewhere on a mountain. And we get there, and it's just a natural hot spring on the side of a mountain.
It's on someone's property.
Yep, and this guy was playing music. He was already there, and there was 3 or 4 different tubs, so we went and soaked in there, and that was really cool.
Yeah, that's actually what brought my
and that was
spirits
after,
back.
Yeah, that was after we realized that the bike had gone missing.
Needed it.
But there's somebody in Salt Lake riding around on that bad boy right now.
Yeah, so if you see a goldish tan Velectric bike with like a little scratch on the side, it's mine. I'd like it back, please.
Yep. So, yeah.
Oh, well.
So.
Upcoming.
Yeah, where are we going? What's up?
Well, I know that we're going to Palm Springs tomorrow, and then I think we're going to figure everything out from there. However, we do know that we need to be in Phoenix, Arizona by this Thursday because our bestie, Katie, is coming to town.
Shout out to Katie.
My girl. So she's going to spend this weekend with us. So in between Palm Springs and Phoenix, not entirely sure. After Phoenix, not entirely sure. However, the week of Thanksgiving, we need to be...
Yeah, you're way ahead.
Somewhere.
We'll have a podcast before then.
Will we?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Oh, yeah.
Time's moving fast, but don't speed it up.
I won't.
Don't speed it up.
Yeah, Arizona. I don't know what's happening.
So yeah, we're on the West Coast. We're going to slowly start making our way back to the East Coast on the South side through Texas and New Mexico and Louisiana and all that fun stuff.
Yep.
Little sad that things are moving quickly, to be honest.
But smile because it's all happened.
Smile. All good things have to come to an end. I know how it works.
And our life at home is wonderful.
Yeah, it is wonderful. So thank you guys for tuning in for episode 7. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode of the Vanture Podcast.